Hey, welcome everybody. We're on season 3, episode 1 of the Super Real Estate Investor Meeting / Investor Game Day podcast.
You got it.
So you got episodes and seasons going now. That's great.
Yes, we do. In case anyone wants to find us on Netflix,
Yeah.
or
We come on just before Yellowstone.
Yeah, you don't have to wait a month every time to see the next episode. You can what do they call it? You can binge watch it.
yes, you can binge watch us all that you want on our Facebook pages. You can go to Jet Lending, Renters Warehouse. That's Richard Drake on Zoom. This is the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind, Eddie Gant. Edward.
That went down wrong.
Eddie just told us that, oh my goodness, that is
Eddie. Sorry. I don't have COVID. I'm COVID free.
Super spreader over here. So you tested 4 times and you tested negative all times.
All 4.
Did you have any idea? You just had only hey, I think I might have been next to somebody.
Yeah,
you didn't have any
we've had
symptoms.
I've never had a symptom. It was one, I was going in for a medical procedure, so they had to test me. The other 3, just some of it might have been reliable, maybe some wasn't. Information of somebody was positive in my vicinity.
Okay,
shortly before, just went and got tested.
So Eddie, kind of like high school baseball, you're 0 for 4, huh?
I was 0 for 4. Yeah, but that last one, I went 1 for 5, won state championship.
So, Mr. Drake is not. Richard's not here tonight because he potentially might have been next to somebody who has the virus.
Yeah, I was next to somebody that was positive for sure, but I didn't get breathed on or anything. But better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. You're feeling okay?
Feeling great. The person who's positive is my father, and he doesn't have any symptoms, as far as temperature or anything either. So we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, people are starting to file in, I believe. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
We have a good show tonight. Nicole Espinoza is going to join us from Dallas. She's known as the short sale queen. Rich, what are you seeing out there when it comes to evictions?
It's still pretty locked down. Harris County is a little tougher than most. Some of the outlying counties we're getting them through, but Hidalgo, the county judge, she's not in favor of evictions, and so it's really tough. I mean, even if they don't produce the CDC letter, good luck getting a JP to get it to go through. We're doing a lot of the eviction avoidance. That Texas has that avoidance program, the eviction avoidance program now. So we're in process on quite a few of those where it's basically about a $25 million pot of money to basically pay landlords for rent on behalf of tenants, and it can go in the past and it can go forward. It's pretty interesting as well.
And so how are you doing on the percentage for both of y'all in your portfolios? You still in the 96% and above?
No, we're probably in the high 80s, low 90s right now this month, as of actually 2 days ago. We're about 3% below our post-COVID numbers. Pre-COVID's not a real good comparison because we got to compare different months. But December, January is always notoriously bad because everybody's spending money on Christmas presents and they kind of get caught up. I'll be interested to see next month, and I'd like to go into the rent collection numbers real deep next month. I think that'll be an interesting thing to see.
What about you, buddy?
Well, we started out smoking good. Now, I believe the number you're looking for, percent of rents received. That's the number I'm talking anyway.
Yeah.
If the number is 100%, it means every tenant paid in full. Well, that's not the case. I'm going to give an approximate through about 10 months of this mess with us. 96, 96, 95, 93, 92, 91, 91, 90, 87, 86, 86, 85, That's where we're in that mid to high 80s, I guess you'd say. And it's just been a slow process. It seems like every month we kind of add one that's not going to pay us, or add two that's not going to pay us, and we're doing the best we can. We have helped some of our tenants, and I'm sure Rich has done the same, apply for some assistance. We actually assisted them in filling out paperwork. We got a few checks, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got a lot.
We got a few checks. We have been to eviction court. We've gotten beat a few times. We've won a couple of times, but the ones we won is usually maybe some type of special situation. We had one we were able to prove the tenant of record on the lease was no longer there. Okay, that was a situation. We had one where there was felonies being committed in the house that had police reports of the felonies, so we was able to get them removed. But if you just go in straight up with nothing to battle, but they didn't pay, we're fighting a tough battle on that one right now, it seems, for us.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's not that we're cold-hearted. We don't like that side of the business, but the fact is, most every landlord out there carries debt on that property, meaning they have a mortgage, they have a payment, and I can guarantee you, for the most part, the banks are not giving us relief. Or not, I shouldn't say for the most part. For us, the banks are not giving relief. For most of the industry, for the most part, I'd have to say that banks are not giving relief to landlords. So it's a tough situation.
Yeah, a lot of people think the landlords are all these big rich guys sitting in a palace up on a hill with a moat around it, and they're just regular folks that are trying to make a living just like everybody else, and they're struggling if they don't get the rent.
And they think we own these houses free and clear.
They don't care. Most tenants want to do what's right and want to do what they're supposed to do. The ones that aren't trying, they're easy to see. You know which ones they are.
Yeah.
So if you're watching and joining us live on Facebook, please love, give us a share. You're all good friends of the podcast, good friends of these guys. This is a networking opportunity for you to ask any questions. Iron sharpens iron in times like this. There's some crazy situations going on, and these guys have been through a lot of the creative solutions to those crazy problems. So that's the reason why I wanted to do this podcast at the beginning, was so I could be closer to people who were more knowledgeable about me and ask the questions from the dumb person's perspective, so I could become smarter.
We call that the Curtis perspective.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. But this dumb guy just got back from Playa del Carmen. This dumb guy just got engaged.
Good for you.
What? I don't see a ring.
Yeah. Well, she got down on one knee. I told her it was okay. You don't have to give it to me.
If she begged enough, I guess it's all right. She can wait for the ring.
Yeah, she's a sweetie.
What kind of blackmail? What'd you have on her?
I don't know. She thought I was rich, and then she saw my bank account and she realized, no. But we did go down there, and I ran into some opportunities, real estate wise. There are a whole lot of people out there buying real estate from the United States, buying condos and renting those out Airbnb. Did you know that?
Sure.
I'm not surprised by it.
We toured some.
I got my hands full in about 150-mile radius around here.
I'm sure that you do. They have a Richard Drake on premises.
I bet they do.
And you pay for that whole process, and they take care of you. It's very interesting. I don't know. There's a whole process. I have no idea how to do it. I wish I knew how to do it. But you cannot be a U.S. citizen and buy a piece of property and own it. You have to go into some trust, and there's all kinds of rigmarole. Anyway, I thought that was a very interesting thing that I did and learned about, or tried to learn about. What did you guys do over the last 2 months?
You want to go first, Richard?
No, go ahead.
Well, I hunted a lot. I always hunt quite a bit this time of the year. Get in the woods, get out of the city. I got one more trip, but I still worked. Uh, I did not buy many houses. I bought a couple. We loaned quite a bit of funds. We put quite a bit of funds on the street out there to our real estate investor friends to buy, fix, and flip, or to rent, or small commercial. Um,
What is a small commercial?
for us,
Mhm.
under a mil.
Okay.
Maybe under 2 mil, but certainly under a mil. That's kind of our bread and butter. Most of these deals will be between 300,000 and a mil.
Will you do land ground up, like a metal warehouse or something like that?
We will loan on land. We are not really set up to do a lot of large scale construction vertical.
Gotcha.
Now we have capital partners that we can arrange that funds for someone, but for us direct in house, kind of tough on us. But we have capital partners that most of the general public don't know about or don't know.
It seems like commercial is making a huge comeback. Where I thought that was going to be the thing that was going to be hit the worst, it seems like a lot of people are moving to commercial. I'm seeing a lot of people exit to single family.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it that way, to be honest with you. The single family, it's, if you didn't read the news and know about it from a real estate perspective, in my opinion, COVID didn't exist last year. From a real estate data, and I've got all the data here, or not all, I have a lot of data here, but I think you're starting to already see the struggles of what I'm going to call inner city office space, downtown office space. I would agree with you in the suburbs, outspread. There's a lot of activity out there, and that's because it's suburbs.
And real estate's all local anyway.
Yeah, it is. It is. But back to the original question, what did we do? It was, and I don't want to say it was business as usual, but it was almost business as usual around here for us. Very brisk. The phone rings often. We did a lot of deals last year and the last 60 days. As you know, I talk to a lot of people on a weekly basis. The attitudes are pretty good out there. Most of the people I know had a good 2020. I've had numerous friends say to me it was the best year they ever had. So but the real estate investor world is like other industries, and I believe in the bell curve. 20% of the people are superstars. 60% of the people trug along and do okay, but maybe not set the world on fire. And 20% are in and out of the business pretty quick and don't make it. That's the bell curve of people, and I do believe in it. But I think that's the case whether you're buying and renting real estate or you're selling hammers down at Ace Hardware. I believe in that. But we're in changing times. I think everybody's nervous as hell about what change in Washington's going to bring. All the economists are still saying good news for 2021 and probably 2022. But I think everybody's nervous. It's because there's change, and people are always nervous and a little bit unsettled when there's big change. Let's throw it over to Rich. I've kind of mumbled enough there, but your thoughts, what have you been doing was Curtis's original question.
Yeah. We've we're business as usual with the exception of the things we need to do to compensate for the being away from people. We're working from home. Our folks are remote, contactless showings, that kind of stuff. But Eddie, I thought you'd bring up the low residential inventory is still persisting. There's it's robust in the residential side. I think a lot of people, Curtis, what you're seeing, and we're seeing it on our end, is a lot of people are selling rentals if they become vacant because they can sell them in about 2.5 minutes and for $20,000 more than they thought. Right. I've got a buddy that's notorious for giving realtors a hard time when they try to lowball him. And, he's like, When I have 6 offers, I don't have to deal with them. I just tell them to, come back at list or talk to you later. So I think you're right with the small commercial stuff, like the little stuff, I can't think of the word, but the little 3,000 square foot, really neat little quirky place in the Heights, right? That somebody can rent an office and go in and work, because now they're working from home. They need a place to get away from the dog and the cat and the kids, right? But these high rises, with 100,000 square feet per floor, they're having a problem. How many businesses have gone out of business retail wise, and all that stuff's just gonna be sitting. So they're gonna have to repurpose that stuff. They're gonna have to absorb all that. So it'll be interesting to see. There's gonna be more restaurants go down. When my daughter and my wife went to Perry's Steakhouse last night, and they said there was 6 tables occupied last night at Perry's Steakhouse. That's just crazy. Most restaurants can't last a whole heck of a long time doing that. So, I think we're going to see some more trouble on the commercial side, more than we have. I think they have deeper pockets than a lot of residential owners, so they can hang on a little bit longer, but there's still going to be a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But for us, we're doing fine. Most of our tenants are paying, and the ones that can't pay, that are really trying and paying partial, we're working with them. And the ones that aren't, the day that we're able to get them out, we'll get them out.
Yeah. And Rich, I did bring it. I didn't want to all throw it out there in the first 5 minutes, but I do have that data.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
It's extremely interesting. We've hit some more milestones. I did look back at one of our podcasts from a couple of months ago, and I was talking about on that podcast, and I think it was October or November. And we're in the 16,000. I said, we're approaching to go under 16,000. Well, since that podcast, not only have we gone under 16,000, we've gone under 15. As of a few minutes ago, this is the number of active single family residents on HAR.com, otherwise known as MLS, the multiple listing service for realtors around here. Just a few minutes ago, 14,815, 14,800. And it's just, they got the year-end press release. It's the lowest we've been in a long, long time. A couple of decades. That's how long it's been since you were this low in Houston.
Eddie, last spring, well, before COVID, what was an average number of listings on the market? What was average back in the day?
I've got it written down on my wall calendar because I knew it was going to be a historic day. And I've coined the phrase COVID Monday. It's Monday, March the 9th, and I call it COVID Monday because Tuesday, March 10th, when they canceled the Houston Rodeo. The next day after that, on Wednesday, was when they canceled the NCAA basketball tournament. So that's when it all blew up that week.
Yeah.
It's written on my wall, 25,044.
Jeez.
So
and that wasn't extraordinarily high either, was it?
No. That was three point something months of inventory, and we're down to like 1.2, 1.3 months of inventory now. Now, the bad news on that is it is a little tougher, not greatly, a little tougher for some investors to find deals. Some, okay? But it's not devastating, and here's why. A man taught me a long time ago when I got in this business, and Richard, probably know who I'm talking about. The dearly departed Ken D'Angelo taught me that regardless of economic conditions, 2 to 6% of your market will be the distressed seller. Mm-hmm. So yes, we're in a tremendous seller's market, but there's still 2 to 6% of those houses that either they're so bad they can't sell them, they're inherited and don't want to jack with it. It's a rent house gone bad for whatever reason. It's an economic, financial issue in that household, which we have. It's all of those things that you have regardless of times, and we still have those houses, and those are not active on MLS for the most part. Those are homeowners that's going to call you, call me, call Rich, call one of our friends because they got a mailer, or they saw our billboards, or they went online and searched "sell my house fast for cash," and they find us and you and Curtis and a lot of other people.
Yeah, I am Curtis and you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So anyway, there's some other, just a tremendous amount of information. I'll throw this one at you. Every month in 2020 for real estate sales was better than, greater than, more sales than any of the same month in 2019, except for 2 months. Okay. And that was April and May. All the other 10 months was greater than. April and May, the sales went down. All the other months exceeded.
And that's because
down.
I think April and May were the lockdowns for the realtors. Realtors couldn't do open office.
Yeah,
it was the initial. No one did anything for 2 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
So RT Chapman has a question. He says, "Guys, I did business with Jet Lending a couple years ago. During that time, you guys sent out leads through email about investment residential properties that worked great. What are some of the best ways to find good investment deals now?"
Well, what are some of the best ways?
Flipping or rentals?
Well, I'm gonna give a two-phase answer. Regardless of how you get into the living room and kitchen, to hit the home runs, what I call hit them out of the park, you got to get in the living room and talk to the people that's
belly to belly,
eyeball to eyeball. That's right. You got to get in the living room and kitchen, talk to them. I'm not going to make every wholesaler mad. I tend to say you can't get deals from wholesalers, or you can't get deals off MLS. Occasionally you can, you find a few deals. But the home runs, they're made in the living room or the kitchen table. How you get there is a magic question. There's no magic, 55-gallon of drum, that you can just pour out on the ground. It's magic. Okay. I don't have any magic buckets. It's mailers. It's internet marketing. It's door knocking and flyers and talking to neighbors about the beat up house. Don't have to be vacant. Probate leads, those kind of things. And again, that's a list. That's a mailer list. But it's mailers, and it's internet marketing, and it's networking. Most of my best deals I get now, and I have an advantage because I've been doing it 21 years and I have pretty good reputation. Most of my best deals are referrals these days. Then you have to pay for the lead.
Yeah, we just bought a house, Eddie. We just bought a house this month, and they said, "Well, we could probably get a little more if we listed, but you bought my cousin's house or my brother. I think it was my mom's house or my brother's or my cousin's house. Can you just buy mine? It's going to be a home run."
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at one Friday. It's a referral. I didn't have to pay for the lead. It's just, being around for a long time, and leads find you, when you've been doing it a while. Like this, Rich and I are similar in our years. I'm 21. He's probably 22, 23, been in it a couple of years longer than I have.
97.
Yeah. I'm 1,700 houses. You're a similar number,
Yeah, you probably passing me up now. I'm getting lazy.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you just got to hustle. If you're truly in the business, if you're really in the business, and you just get up in the morning and you go hard and you look for deals and you do a little marketing and you don't shut it down too late, and you do that every day, deals find
them.
Mm-hmm. Deals. Yeah, you find deals or deals find you. And that's, I know people are out there going that maybe struggling to find deals or thinking that's BS, but it's not.
Well, we are being joined by Nicole Espinosa.
Hey, Nicole.
Oh, she's not on yet? You don't have her? She's in the queue. She's
okay.
The show's getting ready to get much better looking.
Yeah. Right. So
We can deal with Carlos Sober Anus's question later. There we go. Now Nicole's on.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Nicole, how you been doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Are you in Big D tonight?
I am. I'm coming to you live from home. So from my home office.
All right.
Nicole, how many hours a day do you put in on these short sales?
That's a tough question. I just think it's constant. I don't think it's.
Are you from 8 to 8 like this guy?
I don't think it ever turns off, because if I'm not actually working on the deals, I'm working with people that I have relationships with. So it's just a matter of, it's constant conversation, right? Like, how can we consistently collaborate on, like, hey, maybe refining the way we're working with deals or on a specific deal. So yeah, it's real estate.
So for people who may not know who you are, you're the short sell queen.
Yes, sir. So that's all we do. We partner with investors who are coming across these no equity deals. And instead of walking away from the lead, they're partnering with us so that they can have another opportunity to purchase these houses at a discount from the bank.
And when you say partner, you're just meaning they work with you for a fee, or are you actually partnering a part of the property and the profit?
So partnering meaning that they're referring it over to us and we're negotiating their offer with the bank. So we're representing the seller in the transaction and the investor to try and get their deal done with the bank. So that's the goal. The goal is that we can get the investor's offer approved at a discount, on every opportunity. And generally, when you think of investing, you think of like one way, right? When you're doing marketing, is like, how can I get the best leads with the most equity? But there's always going to be deals that just don't make sense. And that's where we come in.
You're a facilitator.
And what?
You're the equity. Oh my God.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Rich, she facilitates, but she's a creative equity creator.
Yeah.
You're the person that takes the property that doesn't fit and then you make it fit. Give us an idea of how much equity you've created out of a deal before. Maybe it was listed for 150. Did you get it down to 90? What's the
I think we should ask Eddie.
You stole my thunder, girl. I was going to ask you if there's anybody on this panel tonight that you've allowed them to hit a home run through your services. I hit one for $100,000 about 3 years ago with Nicole. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I did.
Actually, you get quoted to me a lot. They're like, hey, so Eddie said you hit a home run. So I'm like, okay.
I hit a home run. And Nicole is working for one for me right now.
Yep.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So Nicole, where do you think most people today are finding their deals? How are they getting to the short sell?
So I think right now in this current market, I think the people that are thriving, and the conversations that I've been having are the people that are adjusting to what's going on, right? So instead of the pitch of, I have cash, I'm closing quick, it's like, hey, with your situation, it's a different type of seller, right? So we have people like business owners that have lost their jobs. We have, landlords that like W-2 landlords that can't afford to continue to have all of these rental properties that are trying to offload, to be able to cash out. So we have different kinds of clients. And the people that I've been talking to are just changing the way they market. Like they're prospecting to people that have been protected by forbearance. And they're saying, hey, have you thought about the next step? Like in the next couple months, you're going to have to make a decision. And so they're kind of putting that bug in their ear and being that person that can offer a solution.
What benefit is someone going to have if they were to get your book? Will it teach them to go all the way through the process, or just teach them to use you?
No, we give everything away. So the book, actually, since I'm in my home office, so it's like 340 pages. It includes our short sale packet. It's literally everything. The way we look at it is there's enough business for everyone, right? So if we can help put enough information out there to equip the people that are actually coming across these homeowners, then we're just helping more people. Of course, we're always here as a resource, and if you need somebody that to negotiate, and as a person that can do the short sale. But yeah, I mean, when you read that book, it's information overload.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
When I first sat down and talked with Eddie, it was drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
But that's basically the way that you learn. You're not going to get everything, but some is going to get into your mouth. That's it. Some's going to get into your brain. The rest of it's going to go past you. So someone gets the book, they start marketing, they get a lead for a short sell. What would you suggest that they do on their first short sell deal?
That they're negotiating?
Let's say they find a deal and they're like, hey, I've got this. I think that these people qualify for a short sale. What would your advice to them be?
Well,
just read the book and do it, or call it.
I'm going to be honest with you, unless you're trying to specialize in it, doing one or two doesn't make sense. Like if we only had one or two deals, it would make no sense to put the time and effort, because it takes months and months. Like the industry average is 6 months to a year, right? Ours is a lot less because we have a system, but every short sale is different. So you're really doing yourself an injustice to do the negotiations. If you're an investor, or even if you're a realtor and you're prospecting for deals and you come across a short sale, the best thing to do is outsource the negotiations so that you can focus on what you're doing. Like this is meant, the way I look at it is because that's what we do. We refer out anything other than short sales because we get traditional leads all the time, things like that. So I stay in my lane and I utilize the resources of people that are specializing in their area and just have different tools in my toolbox, right? I mean, that way you can thrive in the money that you're making with what you're doing, that you do best at, and you don't have to pull yourself away from something that you really don't know.
Let me answer the question from an investor perspective.
Absolutely.
Why in the world would I want to be occupying my time in a task that I'm not an expert in, when you got experts like Nicole is going to do it so much more efficiently and better than I'm going to do it, and I'll go look for my other deals.
Well, it's very it's very time consuming, and she's done it how many hundreds of times, and she knows what to not say.
Yeah.
It's more important what not to say than what to say. Yeah. We're going to mess it up. She'll get the home run. We'll get the bunt.
Yeah, she'll have a higher percent effectiveness, a chance to close this than I would if I'm doing her job for her. And I'm going to go look for other deals. I wouldn't even attempt it. I'd turn it over to Nicole like I do. Like I said, she's working one for me now.
But that, I mean, that goes to the point. I know what the answer was. Just leading it to her.
Well,
but my point to everyone watching the podcast is if you know what you're competent at, like Eddie's really good at sitting at the table. I've been with Eddie when he was negotiating. Eddie tells some funny stories about negotiating where he did not leave for 45 minutes. He just kept asking the question over and over and wouldn't get up and leave. And I think that there are some people who are just really good at the stick-to-itiveness. I think to have the name Short Sale Queen means that you're a badass at what you do. I think a lot of people should utilize your services and build their pipeline so that maybe 3 months later they've got a closing, and then a month later they've got another closing. Because I always viewed short sales as kind of like having a couple aces in my pocket for later on. They were going to hit, and when they hit and I got to play them, I was going to win that hand. But I can't bank on it the next week because it wasn't going to take. It took so long.
Yeah,
I tried to do short sales.
Yeah,
I messed up a lot of them.
Yeah, I bet there's some investors out there thinking right now, when should I attempt the short sale? Nicole, you want to answer that, and then I can throw my tidbits in. When should a investor
that's a good one.
Go down this route?
In the sense, in what sense, Eddie? Like,
let's say I'm talking to a motivated seller about selling his property. When should I go into short sale strategy, short sale mentality to go that path with this seller, which is going to result in, you being hired to do it for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So my answer to that is at the very last resort. So you have tried every possible solution, as far as determining an exit strategy. There's no equity. The seller has to sell because they're behind and facing foreclosure. And when you do the numbers, you're looking at it, you're like, between what they owe, closing costs, there's just no real opportunity for you to purchase the property outright. We have a lot of people that are like, hey, if I do a sub 2, I actually got this question today. If I do the strategy of sub 2, can I negotiate down the principal? I'm like, it doesn't work that way. The only way that the bank is going to take a loss is through a short sale. So if a sub 2 is an option, that's the option you should take. The short sale is the last resort when there's absolutely no equity and you have to, negotiate in order to make the numbers make sense to invest in some type of way.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nicole.
Yes.
When I used to do short sales a long, long time ago, there was a rule that you could not pay someone, like people would want to pay money so that they could leave. They'd be like, well, I need $2,000 in order to leave, right?
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to do that through FHA, I believe. I'm not sure about through
Most lenders are going to forbid it.
Okay.
Let's let Nicole answer
Yes.
that. What is the rule?
So we actually apply for relocation assistance for every seller. And FHA will actually grant $3,000 for homeowners that are still occupying the property, and conventional is up to 10 grand. So
Wow.
Anybody that's occupying the property, there's a good chance. And I want to say FHA, like 90% chance we can get it for them. And the only reason why I say it's not 100 is because if they have multiple liens, like HOA, an excessive amount of taxes that are separate from, being escrowed in, that can affect the minimum net, and the bank will require them to waiver that relocation assistance. But for the majority of the time, we do get the sell money.
Are they taxed on that money that they get?
That's a great question. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they end up. I haven't seen any clients get a 1099 because it gets dispersed from. Actually, I take that back. They aren't, because it gets dispersed from the HUD.
Okay.
So I'm sure they'll have to claim it or whatever, but they don't get taxed on it.
Yeah, they may actually later get a 1099 for forgiven debt from the lender.
Now,
But
hold on.
they're covered.
Let's talk to Nicole about that. I think there was legislation that changed that. Am I correct on that?
Correct. So originally, Eddie for the win.
That's a good point, though. This is a very good point. There's so much misinformation. This is probably covered in her book too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. But the 2007 Mortgage Debt Relief Act, initially when the boom happened, the market crashed, George Bush put this act saying, hey, if you go through a short sale and you have forgiveness for that deficiency, if you file this form 1099Z or something like that, don't quote me on it, but it's a form that it's like a wash, right? It's forgiven. So the banks have the right to 1099 you, right? So that they can, write it off, but you won't have to pay taxes on it. Well, every year, retroactively, they've been extending it. And so now they finally put it, knowing that short sales aren't going to go away, they finally put it and passed the law. With all the politics that have been going on, we've been waiting for Trump to do it, but it has been passed. So I say all of that to say that if you do short sales, you will not have to pay taxes on that loss or that deficiency.
That's good.
Yep.
So
That's huge. Now, Nicole answered it very well with a whole lot more words than I'll use. When I go into short sale mentality, short sale strategy is very simple. When they owe more than I'm willing to pay, and they're behind.
Right.
I won't.
And that covers the two: hardship, no equity, short sale.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if they've been behind for a long time and they've been finding a way to stay, that lender's a lot more frustrated than somebody that's just 30 or 60.
And they're willing to do less things too, because I call the people that are behind the professionals, the ones that are behind 3+ years, because they've been playing the game with the bank. And so they're a lot less lenient to postpone or try to do some type of workout option if they've been playing that game with the bank for a long time.
I used to do a little creative strategy to give people money. I would buy their TVs, baseball cards, pictures, and then I would just do like a personal.
Buy their furniture. Yeah.
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 I would just buy something from them and then accidentally leave it there and not get it back. But
Forgot to get like $5,000 TV. I'm so sorry.
yeah, well, I don't think I would go with a $5,000 TV, but I have added things and put it on like a personal ledger sheet. You know, the sheet that we have to do when we're
non-realty
addendum. I would do that
Thank you
on
very much.
non-realty addendum.
Any other lessons you need in that contract stuff? You just let
Oh
me know.
man, I have forgotten so much about being a realtor.
What I will say is people that are driven by money are the hardest type of client to deal with, because if you promise them something and you set that expectation, they've already spent that money in their head. So we try to set the expectation of, hey,
you're getting
sure you don't owe anything, right? That's the goal. I want to make sure that I'm advocating on your behalf to settle the debt and you don't get foreclosed on. If I can get you money on top of that, that's like cherry on top of the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way there's no expectations and they're not emotionally attached to the outcome.
Do you ever see the investor tell the customer or tell the potential short sell the client, whatever they are, the client, do you ever see them say, I could get you a short sell, but you have to stop paying your mortgage?
Yeah, I mean, generally they're already behind. So it's usually not a big deal. I mean, it's we're talking about America here. So the fact that most people aren't proactive, right? They're just reactive. So, the people that are strategic and they're like, and I think that we will see a lot more of that because we have a different kind of seller. So I think the people that are trying to figure out logistically, okay, I've been doing a forbearance for almost a year. Now what, right? Those people, yes, you might have to have that conversation of like, hey, you're going to have to fall behind in order to do a short sale, because if you're not behind, it's hard to prove a financial hardship. They can't review you for something saying that you can't afford it if you're paying it. So
one more short sell dumb question. Can the person and I think I already know the answer to this. Can the client stay in the house when the new person, when me, the buyer of the property in a short sale buys the property, can I keep them in as a renter?
Okay. So no, they can't, because in order to, it'll violate the arm's length transaction, which says if we're taking a loss, you're actually selling it. There's no like backdoor agreements or anything like that. And then the second, that's the worst strategy ever as an investor, because all you did was remove the threat of foreclosure and now make this your responsibility to a delusional person that has been behind and hasn't paid their own mortgage. But now you've just made it comfortable for them, and now you're the bank. You know
Would
what I mean?
any of these dumb questions that I gave you be answered already in your book if I would have read it?
Well, most of them. I'm not the one you just asked, but I mean,
all right. I just wanted to make sure if I could have been smarter and more educated.
well,
Maybe.
Here's the deal: like, it's going to register differently, right? So it may not. Yours is different questions, but I mean, there's a ton of information in the book.
Here's the most important question of the night for you. You gonna get my deal closed?
Of course, I always get your deal closed.
There you go.
Nicole, you've been great. I hope that you had fun on the podcast tonight.
Thank you guys for inviting me, and I can't wait to see you guys in person. Bring up events, guys. Come on.
Hey, I'm getting ready to announce a live event in Houston in just a few minutes.
Done. I'm there.
Okay. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bring a book for me.
All right.
Oh, I'm signed and everything. Don't worry.
I want a signed copy.
Done. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get into this other event I'm going to tell everybody about, Rich, what do you think? When do you think we're going to be able to take our show live again? Do you have
Golly, man, it's just so frustrating when you see, you feel like things are turning the corner, and then, you see the numbers surge again and more people. And, now it's hit my family personally. It's just kind of strange to see that happen. I don't have a good feeling. I don't know.
Yeah. We, Jet all went out to a hard money event in Vegas in December. And I'm not knocking the event, but I'll knock Vegas. It wasn't fun.
Really?
50% of the lounges and bars and restaurants were closed. The event was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, it was more than 50% were closed.
I believe
And it wasn't fun. If everybody's going in there to play blackjack with their wife or girlfriend, and the wife or girlfriend maybe wants to stand behind your chair and watch and not play. Can't do that. Can't do it. And 3 people max to a table. It wasn't fun. I'm not going back to Vegas until this deal's done.
You and I have a mutual friend. He goes to Vegas a lot, and he's done with Vegas. He just goes over to, Louisiana right now.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to interrupt you. Is there any, since this is a January show, is there any New Year's resolutions you guys are doing? Any goals that you've set for your business or personal life?
I'm just going to try to be healthy. And
how are you doing that?
Well, it hadn't been the case the last 3 or 4 days because I've had people pulling on me, but drink a little less beer, not a lot less, but a little less beer, and get a little more exercise. I'm having surgery next month. And as soon as that surgery occurs and I have time to heal, I'm going to try to get back in the gym, lift weights. I'm having my second rotator cuff surgery next month.
Oh my gosh.
Second.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
I bet you can't wait.
Well, I'm ready to get my shoulder well. I can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
What about you, Rich?
I'm ready to get back to traveling again, to be honest. We've really, kind of leaned ourselves out a little bit in Renter's Warehouse, our business. We're doing fine. We've got a lot of goals. We've got some new programs coming out this year that I think people are going to love. We're actually got a deal now where, let's say you rent your house today and you want all your rent for the whole year paid up front. How's 10% discount sound? You can have it all with no risk of collection.
Oh, wow.
And that's Wall Street backed.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
So you'll get a check for all your rent for the whole year. Now you still own the house, and a little maintenance comes up, you got to handle it, but you can get, and especially for landlords right now that are, maybe get a little behind on their mortgage or what have you, or their personal job's a little problem. That could be a nice little shot in the arm for them. So we've got that done. We're in a pilot program for that right now. So we should be able to help a lot of people with that one. We're excited about that.
So just to reiterate, that one is get the entire 12 months up front for a 10% discount.
Correct. So if you got a $2,000, say $2,000 rent's $2,400 or $24,000, you take $2,400 off of that. That's the discount. And then there's, you got to pay, if we found you a tenant or whatever, you take that out and the management fees out and you're done. There's no extra monthly fee to do it or anything like that. There's no setup. I don't know if there's a setup. Maybe there's a setup. I don't know. But it's, $22,000 up front instead of 24 and 12 months. And if the tenant starts slow paying, it's not your problem anymore.
What does that do for the mortgage if I just took $22,000 and just dropped it real quick on the
It depends. So Eddie's probably very familiar with this, but if you have a mortgage that's amortized and you send extra money, they're going to apply it to principal unless you, along with your payment, say, I would like to apply this to future payments. And you can choose to do that. So you could prepay payments, or otherwise they're just going to go ahead and put it towards principal.
And what does that do if someone were to take all $22,000 and push it towards future payments? Is that going to pay your debt down faster?
Now, if you push it to future payments, it's not going to pay your debt down faster because it's just going to sit there and then pay the payments as they're due. If you push it towards principal, though, what happens is it totally screws up your amortization, because what it's doing is now you still have to pay a normal month's payment every month, but it's going to shorten your debt lifetime because you've paid a bunch of principal at once, and now the old amortization schedule is not really valid anymore, but you can't change the payment. Right. And what it does is it just shortens the life of your loan and makes you pay it off quite a bit earlier.
Okay.
Can you explain it better than that, Eddie? It's hard to
No.
explain, but what you're borrowing less money for that longer period of time now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you about an event coming. Is that okay? Can I cover that?
I'm interested in that, Eddie.
Yeah. It is, there's an event coming to town. It's a national organization called Think Realty. I don't know how many of you get their emails. I get them.
You and I were talking about that, weren't we?
Yeah, they're pretty big and they're pretty prominent. The thing that got my attention about them is their articles that they put out almost essentially daily, maybe multiple times a day. They got good, strong articles.
Say that again. What's the address for people who may not have caught it the first time?
Think Realty.
ThinkRealty.com.
THINK. Think. I'm thinking about something. Think Realty. But they are coming to Houston for a 2-day show. It's a Friday, Saturday. It's a limited venue. What'd they say, Alex? 250? 200 people. I don't know the exact cost to attend. It's not a huge number. Do you remember, Alex, what the cost is? It's supposed to get us all the marketing stuff. I don't know. It's $100 maybe or something like that. Or
It's at the Houston Marriott.
yeah.
It's at the Marriott?
Alex, it's at the Marriott. It's at the Marriott down in the Galleria. And there's 2 Marriotts down there.
Like Riverway?
Well, it's the one of the Marriotts at the Galleria.
Yeah, it's Galleria.
They're going to be sending Jet Lending a link for us to blast out for a discount. And I just don't have that data tonight. But March 26th and 27th, it's a 2-day event. They're going to have 2 days worth of breakouts and seminars and 2 days worth of vendors down in the corridor down there. So I'm going to be there. The Jet Crew's going to be there. That's, I'm itching to go. Eddie Wilson runs it. That's Eddie Wilson right there on your phone.
I was going to show everybody that Think Realty has its, like the stuff that Eddie's talking about. They have also a podcast on Facebook as well. So if y'all wanted to go on Facebook for more of this information.
Maybe wait and don't sign up quite yet. Get a link from Jet and it may save you a few bucks. They're supposed to be offering us a discount so we can send it out to our customers. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're listening to this podcast and anywhere.
I was just talking about getting these.
Yeah. So I've watched this group from afar. They're very professionally run. I know the owner, whose name is Eddie Wilson. He's out of Atlanta. But anyway, I'm not want to spend any more time on it. Just watch for it, and we'll be blasting it out. And we're going to be there. Jet Lending is actually sponsoring the happy hour on Friday night, so it's going to be free happy hour. So no other, if you got no other reason, come free happy hour.
What about the next super investor meeting?
That's what I kind of started on Rich a minute ago, and I think that's when we brought Nicole in, but I don't know. Rich, do you want to take a swing at that?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing it in person. It wouldn't bother me. I'm perfectly comfortable around people. It doesn't bother me. A lot of people, though, I just feel like a lot of people are still real cautious. And I hate to, set up something and expect 500 and get 50. Because people are afraid. It'd be interesting. Maybe we ought to do a little RSVP test and see what we get. I said if we were to have maybe a survey type situation and send out to our guys or all of our peeps and see what comes back.
Hold on. For the people, there's some people watching this podcast that never went to one of our events, may not even know about it because they're new. For 13 years, Jet Lending and Renters Warehouse have done a third Wednesday and live investor meeting, and our attendance for the last 2 or 3 years of that event ranged from 800 to 1,200 live at the event. Free.
Free food, free beer.
Yep.
Do you think that we could get the guy from Texas A&M to Dots Hour to come?
Oh, he'll come if you pay him. Oh, we pay him.
He's not cheap.
He don't travel for free.
What about Zoom?
Who?
What about Zoom?
He'll charge for Zoom. I don't know what his fee is for Zoom. I know what it was in person.
Okay.
He did the Zoom for the Homevester deal. I wonder how that was. That was pretty interesting.
Did you listen to it? Watch it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was very good. I'd be interested to see what he has to say now with the new the new White House and the way the Senate ended up. So
Yep.
Be interesting.
Yep. So, I guess I don't know how much more time we got here. We're about 5 minutes or so.
We
Yeah.
can wrap up
You know,
whenever.
I guess email us, let us know on this podcast, assuming we're not going to have a live event for a while, what you need, what you want.
What
we
you'd
can
like
do.
to hear about.
You know, we are trying to bring a guest or two on and us tell about the
I thought Nicole was great.
she was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was really good information.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, I think
she did hit a home run. She really, truly, I hit a home run a couple of years ago with her.
That's a great.
Yeah.
Look
That
at
was a
Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll say, Eddie, Curtis, and you were speaking earlier about people possibly getting out of single family, and a lot of people are selling because of the seller's market. But you know what comes after a seller's market, don't you?
The buyers.
Appreciation.
Yeah. Ooh,
Appreciation.
Hardstat. They word it differently in different places, but basically the appreciation in 2020, again, they word it differently in different paragraphs. The low number is 5.9. The high number is 11.4. Just think about that number for a second. Landlords holding inventory made a lot of money in 2020 that they're going to one day put in their pocket. They hadn't put it in their pocket yet. They will.
And my point is, as long as we have this seller's market, the demand is going to continue to be. As long as this demand and this low inventory situation is happening, there's more people wanting houses than there are selling houses. So it's supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
And what category of home is going to go up the most? In my opinion, it's under 300,000, because I've said this 1,000 times. They ain't building them anymore.
That's right.
And that's where working class folks want to live, right? They need a house that they can afford. They can't afford an $800,000 neighborhood like Curtis and Eddie. So, they said they're looking at, 150 to 250, right? Builders aren't building them.
That's
so those
right.
are going to appreciate. It's just
right.
It's a no-brainer. And if you're buying rentals for cash flow, you're not doing it for the right reason.
Eddie and I are slumming in our $850,000 houses while Rich is on his $2.5 million ranch.
Curtis, I forgot to send you a picture after the painters got done. You did a fantastic job designing that kitchen. It is beautiful. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Curtis helped me out with my house, and man, it looks awesome.
Let's say just a couple more sentences about this appreciation, because it's so big. Depending on what, and these are not Eddie Gant numbers. These are Houston Association Realtor numbers. 5.9 to 11.4, depending on which paragraph you read. Think about that number for a second.
To dive down deeper into your numbers, the average listing price, not the sold price, the average listing price per square foot is $136.24. $136 a square foot. That's the average. The average listing price right now, including pending, solds, actives, all of that, is $380,000. The average square foot of a house is 2,617. The average lease price is $2,091. That is just a little under $1.10 a square foot. And the average year built is 1994.
At the start of the year, we had 3.2 months of inventory, which is considered low. At the end of the year, we're at 1.9 months of inventory.
Do you want me to bamboozle you just a little bit more?
No, yeah, go ahead.
In Dallas, the average list price is $350,000. There's a $30,000 increase in Houston over Dallas. The same average square footage, but the list price went from 136 to 121. In the other big city, San Antonio, the number is $320,000. So it's another $30,000 discount from Dallas to San Antonio.
Yeah.
But
And they all have dwindling inventory. All of them.
the amount of inventory, the active pending continue to show, all of that inventory, there's only 11,567 listings total in San Antonio, in all of the San Antonio, South Texas area. The average square foot is 2388.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. None of us have a crystal ball. I used to have one and I broke it by accident. But none of us have a crystal ball. But we're in interesting times. There is some nervousness out there, but I've never been one to run my business scared. I run my business thinking, watch what's going on, make adjustments. So
Yeah, educated guesses is all you can do.
Yeah. So I'm going to be in this business this year, and I'll just watch what's going on and adjust accordingly. It's not going to scare me out of the business. So let's roll.
Hey, Eddie, John Ernst just texted me a link to Mark Dotcher's going to have a deal coming up. It's $20 to get on the Zoom.
Really?
Alex, if you check your email, Alex, I just sent it to you. If you'll link it on here where people can jump in if they want to see it.
Alex said he'll do it.
That's
All
the
right.
best $20 you'll ever spend, probably. Unless it's buying,
that's a
unless
bargain.
it's buying me a couple of beers, later.
Unless it's out Las Vegas with
yeah,
Eddie.
Yeah. Dotcher's, he's usually on his game.
Yes, he is. I'm going to get on it. Just I can't imagine missing something at a time like this. It'd be nice to see what he has to say.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Mark Dotcher, former head of the Texas A&M Real Estate Center. He's no longer with the Texas A&M Real Estate Center. He's with them for a long time, and he's independent. He lectures and speaks all over the world. Okay, are we done? Thank you, everybody.
Hey, guys, it's tomorrow at 11 a.m. So,
Wow.
Alex, if you'll put it on the Facebook page, folks can grab it.
Wow. How did that get by me without me knowing?
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See you guys.